Hey y'all, it's your girl Miss Melanated, and we're back with another episode of Go Bout Your Business. Y'all, today we are on the topic that I find very important. I think a lot of people need to hear, and that is leading without a title. Y'all, let me tell you the reason why I chose this particular topic is because of a podcaster I actually did a podcast with a couple months back. His name is Walk and Talk with Jimmy. So shout out to you, Jimmy, because I like the points and the topics that you were talking about, especially in this episode, because a lot of people feel as if that they're not leaders without an authority figure or an authority stature to their name. And that is not true. But you have to also understand how to lead without a title. I feel like a lot of people go through that in their life, trying to figure out how to lead or how to become a person of influence without a necessary title. So let's get into it. So leading without a title. I think, like I said, this particular episode is near and dear to me because in certain spaces, I don't have certain titles. You know, at my job, I could be a manager. At my jobs, I can be a broker. But without that title, who are you? You know, and how do you become that? But the 3 points I like to touch on is consistency, curiosity, and courage. I feel like the first step anybody can have with leading without a title is first consistency. Consistency creates influence. Regardless of somebody supporting you or not, they're watching that you keep at it. The whole world is waiting for you to quit something. It was this one reel I was just watching, and it said, chasing your dreams and failing is cringe unless your passion is tied to immediate success. People don't like to go through the growing pains of what it means to put themselves out there, going for their goals, not having people support, not popping on your first go. And I feel like a lot of times we're in a world, what they say, of creatives and artists that don't create. So where does that leave you? Especially if you're an artist who doesn't make art, or you're afraid to share your art with the world because of the fear of failing or being an amateur at it. That doesn't matter, especially if it comes from my perspective. I'm growing a podcast, and I've been growing this podcast for years. It's been up and down. I have had months where I've stopped doing the podcast. I had moments where I've stopped doing a podcast. I have days where I don't even want to record a podcast episode. But I always tell myself, if I keep on showing up for myself, one day I'm going to wake up and the life that I know is for me will be here. So let me ask you, what is the life that you want for yourself? Are you consistent in getting those goals? And ask yourself, this is one of the biggest questions. Y'all, simply, what does consistency mean to you? What is your definition of the word consistent? Because whether people support or not, you're still going to be there. So show up for yourself before other people show up for you. And the second one I would say is curiosity. Y'all, the best thing about learning, having passion, having a goal, having a hobby is the curiosity part. Having the mind to literally just, all right, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm curious. I'm going to read up on it. I'm going to follow mentors who do the same thing that I do. I'm going to dive deeper. I'm going to self-explore. Doing little things to get you curious. You can't have passion without curiosity. And I always say this, like, it's near and dear to me because I feel like I have a curious soul. You know, when you go through certain things, especially with building a brand, building a reputation, little things like that, the only way you can become something bigger is if you are curious. So y'all, get curious. Figure out what curiosity means to you, how you can even be curious in the bigger sense of things, and do not apologize for a curious mind. And the third point I like to touch on this topic is courage. How brave are you? Let me ask you again, how brave are you? Are you a person that's going to do it scared? Are you a person that's going to do it not in the know? Are you a person that's going to do it with problems on your head, bills? How brave are you? How brave are you to go after your dreams, to say, this is what I want, and I'm not going to stop until I get it? That is how you lead without a title. Bravery. Having enough courage to stand in the face of fears and do it anyway. Because once somebody sees that you're brave enough to go after what you want, you inspire people to go after what they want. And that turns into a ripple effect of a very important word, and that's influence. How your courage, your bravery turns into influence. Because somebody is inspired by you, regardless of whether they support you, regardless of whether they show public support. There's somebody out there that needs the message that you're ready to give. So be brave enough to put that message out there, to put that art out there, to put that job out there, to put that entrepreneurship out there. Because there's somebody watching you that is appreciating what you do and is ready to follow in your footsteps, even without giving you the credit. Don't worry about credit. Worry about results. Y'all, okay. So I just came back from a business conference in Vegas, and we call it in our industry big event. I had the pleasure of listening to speakers like Mike Krasowski. I don't even know how to say his name the best, but forgive me. Coach K from Duke. I had the privilege of listening to speakers like Ray Lewis, and I had the privilege to listen to my favorite coach, Chris Hart. Y'all, like I said, and I said this in a previous podcast, if y'all keep up with my podcast, Chris Hart, I feel like we're used to him. Like, he's a person that is always in the office. We see him, and you never realize how much you take your mentor for granted because you see him almost every day. Like, you can joke with him, you can be in a stop, you can text him, hey, coach, I need to process these issues. But to see someone on a big stage actually take exactly what they want and put it out there is what inspires people to go after what they want. And that is the main important thing. How are you going after what you want? And how do you see your mentor on a big stage winning and you not winning? One of the biggest conversations in our office was, are you going to be a part of the movie, or are you going to watch from the sidelines? Watch the documentary. And ask yourself, am I actually playing in this game of life, or I'm just watching life coast me by? It's one of the important things that I feel like a lot of people should ask on their pursuit of journey, pursuit of happiness, pursuit of goals. How am I turning me into a bigger person? Let's go over a few key points that I find important about leadership, honestly. As I read certain books, especially like Think and Grow Rich, the one key point that consistently comes up in entrepreneur books, mentor books, self-improvement is leading with problem-solving mindsets. Leaders problem solve. If you have a hurdle, you cannot be afraid of the hurdle. You have to figure out, how am I going to get past this hurdle? Not get around, not go under, not go over, but go through. If you are a person that is afraid to go through, you're not a leader. You have to figure out ways to go through the issue with a brave heart and a consistent mind. Leaders problem solve. So ask yourself, especially when you're in certain scenarios, what problem am I solving? How can I solve the problem? Where can I go to figure out ideas to solve the problem? How can I solve the problem in a way that I can be proud of myself? Knowing that, hey, This hurdle I jumped satisfactory enough for me. The second issue, or the second point of leadership that I found very important, was taking initiative without being told what to do. Y'all, we know at certain jobs, sometimes I do it my dang self. If somebody ain't telling me what to do, I ain't doing it. Straight like that. I ain't doing it. Because A, I don't feel like it. And B, I don't want to. I don't want to. But when you're actually practicing steps of leadership, one of the main important things is taking initiative. How am I getting things done? How am I checking things off the checklist without somebody telling me these are the things that need to be checked off the checklist? Everybody loves that famous saying, especially at work or especially at school. There's always something to do. There's always something to do. There's always more work that can be done. It's annoying, but it's true. There's always something you could be doing to better yourself, whether it's reading, whether it's learning, whether it's practicing, whether it's brainstorming. There's always something to do to get you to the next level. How willing are you to take initiative on getting to the next level? That is a very important question one should ask themselves. How am I taking initiative in my own life? Or am I just always comfortable with being the victim? Letting the world happen to me rather than happening to the world. One of my favorite key points that Ray Lewis said in his speech when he took us to church at our conference, y'all, he said a very big point. Stop trusting people. Again, stop trusting people and only trust the God in you. Only trusting the God in you allows you to hear your own voice. And when you're leading without authority, God is your guide. A lot of people are not spiritual, but sometimes you might have to tap into spirit to go get things that you have never seen, to go do things that you have never done, to get the confidence for things that you have never traveled, roads you have never crossed. But that only comes from trusting the God in you. But then while trusting the God in you, you have to ask yourself an important question. Am I influenced by the surroundings I'm around? Am I easily influenced by my surroundings? So am I trusting the surroundings or I'm trusting me? And now it's the question of, okay, if I'm trusting my surroundings, how do I quiet the noise around to hear myself? How do I quiet every exterior voice to hear what God is telling me to do? The path that I should take with no one else's influence, no one else's thought. What you have learned and what you have educated yourself. How you change your perception of the world. Now, after that education has been brought to you, sit with that education. Ask yourself simply, how am I influencing the world around me? And am I easily influenced by the world around me? Because that is a key factor in who you become, especially in the word leadership. Leaders are not easily influenced by everything that's happening around. Somebody tell you to jump, you jump. Somebody tell you up, you up. That's not a leader mindset. So you got to ask yourself, how easily influenced? How am I getting tongue tied? How easily influenced am I to the world around me? Because that is an important factor in understanding yourself and understanding how to lead others. Y'all, as I'm going through the journey of becoming a broker, I started in the financial service industry about a year ago. I was looking for a bigger opportunity to A, better myself, B, understand finances that my community wasn't primarily taught, and B, give myself the opportunity to earn certain types of income that my people has never seen, my family has never seen. So as I've gone down this journey, we do a lot of self-development reading. We do a lot of personal coaching. And I've constantly been sitting with myself, like, what does this mean? How can I implement it? Where can I go? And how can I get better in my content? How can I get my engagement up? Because y'all, I say this almost every time I get on this podcast. I don't like content creating. I'm not the best at it. I'm not the ultra most confident person at content creating, but I show up. And the reason why I show up is because I know the message is bigger than anything or any doubt that is in my mind. The message is bigger. The thoughts are bigger. The goal is bigger. And there's a lot of people out there that is in positions like me. I didn't want to make this podcast when I already became a person of authority. I wanted to make it before I became a person of authority. Just to show y'all what it looks like to not have 1,000 followers, to not have people support you crazy, to not have 1 million comments or 1 million things, to not have all those influences beyond what you want to do. And one of the important factors of kind of like creating content or keep on going when you don't have a crazy influence and you're not the big influencer is how you influencing yourself. How can you, and the second question, I love this. Can you influence just one person? Can you influence just 2 people? Just 3 people? Because y'all have to realize any number from 1 through 10 can easily turn into 1,000, 3,000, 4,000, 4 million, 400 billion. All numbers are the same. All you got to do is add zeros to that. And when you get to the point where you're adding zeros to it, that means you're growing significantly and abundantly. You're reaching different levels. So ask yourself, what level am I reaching when I'm leading without a title? A lot of people find comfort, especially in the world that we live in today, the authority title that is given to them from a job place. We see it almost every day. When police get they badge and they gun, now they think they hot shit. And this is like, okay, loser. You ain't have that authority before, huh? You got yourself a badge and a gun and you thought you somebody. Okay. Or that manager. Well, you know you low-key dumb, but it's like, whatever, because that job gave you that position or whatever. Now you think you hot shit, but you not. It's just the authority that somebody else gave you. So now you confuse yourself thinking you are a leader. But leadership takes character. Leadership takes challenges. Leadership takes consistency. Leadership takes introspection. So what ways are you becoming introspective and actually looking at yourself and saying, who am I behind an authority, behind a title, behind anything or any accolades that the world has given me? Who am I trying to be? Who do I want to be in this world? And can I sit with myself after I am it? Because there is leaders who don't have no authority figure title. But they do have what? Influence. And how does influence come to be? It's not by having 1 million followers on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. It's simply being able to inspire someone, to encourage someone to actually keep fighting another day, to be able to problem solve with a person, and to be able to sit with people even in their lowest moments. Y'all, let me ask y'all, the people who have sat with y'all in y'all lowest moments, do they have an influence over you? Do you care about what they say? It's important to ask yourself that because a lot of times people do. And the thing is, that is a very important thing to have. But let me not contradict myself with what I said earlier. I want y'all to hear me clearly. These people may have an influence over you. And that is important to be influenced by others. But stop trusting every word that another person can say and only trust God in you. Somebody can influence you and they can influence you for the better. Do not be afraid to be influenced because leadership is good. Having other thoughts is good. Having mentorship is great. Somebody that has done it before you and traveled a road and tell you, hey, don't go there. I took that path last time and it didn't end well. And it's not projected fears, literally, factually, don't go that way. I went that way and it has not got that good result. Factually, don't go that way. But, we're all human. Sometimes curiosity makes us peak. And we go that way just for the heck of it. Just for the thrill of it all. But don't be surprised if that way gives you a road that you can't turn back to. Don't be surprised because it's not that the person is telling you bad things. It's an experience that they have already experienced. That's why they're telling you factually. But at the end of the day, what I love about the world and the choice of God is don't trust people, trust yourself. See the results that you can get yourself. Even if you did go to the road not traveled or the road that shouldn't be traveled. If you're rooted in belief, you will always find your way back. I truly believe that. No matter what. Even if you're rooted, even if you went the wrong way, even if somebody warned you, like we always yell in the movies, don't go that way, right there, don't go that way. Don't open the closet. Even if you open the closet and Pandora box comes out, one thing you should know that if you're rooted in what you believe and what you know, you will always be able to find your way back home. Nobody said you won't have scars, but at least you made it back home. And that's what's most important. But y'all, let me keep on talking about leading without a title and what it means to have vision when you don't have a title. In my business, we do a lot of recruiting. And recruiting is the life of our business. How many people are you able to influence to see what you're doing in the community, for families, for growth? And how many people are able to jump on your vision? There's so many of my colleagues in the office. All of us recruit. But some people have larger teams than others. And sometimes we always ask why. I have one of our brokers here. His name is Simi Solo. We just posted a podcast episode with him not too long ago. But yesterday, y'all, it won't be yesterday when I drop this podcast, but yesterday, y'all, I watched this man receive 13.5K on a regular Thursday. On a regular Thursday. And I'm like, I want to make that bread. Send me, let me hold $20. But the whole point about watching somebody gain that much money, watching somebody get that influence, watching somebody is ask yourself, how well of a leader is he? Because you can't get that in our industry without being able to help other people make the exact same money you make. So if your income is not that 13K on a random Thursday, you got to ask yourself, am I going hard enough in leadership? Am I turning myself into a better leader? And am I leading my team to a vision bigger than myself? Oftentimes, God gives us vision. And he didn't give us a one-man vision. I shoot this podcast and as I talk to y'all, I don't do everything by myself. I have a podcast producer. The vision is bigger than me. Yeah, I could just put up a camera and talk. So many people do have podcast episodes like that. But when you get big enough to have a team, to get flied out, to get PR, do you think you can do it by yourself all the time now? No. Sometimes you can be a face of a movement, but the vision is so much bigger than you. So ask yourself, how am I leading somebody? How am I being the best leader in the vision? And how am I casting the vision? Am I casting the vision big enough for somebody to see their own visions within mine? To see their outlets, the way that they can cast their own visions within ours. Interconnected visions, interconnected thoughts. How can I create a vision so big, so vast, to cast it out for even my most amateur follower, my most amateur influence, to see a vision for themselves in the vision I'm casting? Because y'all, it's not about being in somebody else's world. We see so many famous people, Cardi B, Rihanna, we could say Messi, anybody. They have a team, and a lot of people think that their team solely serves them. But that's not true. Just because you're not Messi himself doesn't mean your vision that you're casting is not even bigger than his. But you found an avenue within his vision to then cast your own. It's called an interconnected vision. So ask yourself, if you're leading without authority, am I casting vision? Am I giving the people that are influenced by me or following me a chance to have a vision bigger than what I'm casting? Bigger than me? Because vision is God-given. And how consistent am I in actually showing up for that vision for them to believe in it too? Y'all, the hard truth is, first of all, nobody listens to you like that if you don't have money. Nobody listens to you like that if you don't have authority. And nobody listens to you like that if you don't have influence. But now, when you find yourself like, okay, that means I'm not worthy of those things. No. Just ask yourself, how do I get it? Am I showing up for the vision I'm casting for others? On the days that I don't feel like it, am I still showing up? And what does showing up looks like? Am I giving 110% to it? Am I giving just 5% to it? If I'm doing the here damn, because a lot of people do the here damn. But the one thing I like about the here damn, if I'm being completely honest, y'all, is it gives you the chance to show up anyway. Sometimes you might not show up 100%, and that's okay. That's okay. But are you showing up? Did you at least do some type of movement? Did you at least move the pen and the needle by one go? People don't follow a page. They don't follow words. One thing I had to come to the conclusion is people follow you. You have to become personable enough for people to be like, oh, I can relate to this person. And you know, guys, 100% transparent, that is what I'm working on. I don't like to share certain intimate parts of my life. Not because I got anything to hide. It's because that's where I go to find peace. But as I'm on this podcasting journey, as I'm on this social media journey, as I'm on this influencer journey, I've been literally talking to myself and just diving deeper into people need to see your everyday. Just see how you move or get things done, or just see your little rants or what it takes to even set podcast episodes up. Like, people need to see that. It's important for people to see your everyday, just so they can understand that I'm not somebody that's this big head, that's, you know, I'm really just a person who decides to show up. And it's okay to be just a person that decides to show up. I'm finding that that's what a lot of people like and appreciate. People that simply decide to show up. So to the people that are watching this, to the people that have followed my podcast and supported, I'm showing up for y'all. always keep the message out there, because we're not done going about our business. Because what do I say? First, you got to mind yours. Then you got to be about it. This was my quick little snippet of the day. My what? My words of advice. Just something that's sending love to people who are leading without a title. Y'all, see y'all on the next episode. Go Bout Your Business.